All right, another wonderful episode for you guys today. Today we have Talia on the show.
Hello.
How you doing, Talia? Thank you for coming on.
I am doing very well. Thank
Excellent.
you for asking me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Of course. So, Perspective Podcast, if you're a first-time watcher, basically we talk about hardships and adversity that our guests have faced in order to give you guys some tools to navigate out of them. So nothing is planned beforehand. This is actually the first time I've ever met Talia, and we're just having an organic conversation. So come as you will. Let's learn a little bit about Talia and some insight that she has gained through the years.
Yes, sir. Well, I originally asked you exactly what we were going to be talking about, and
Yeah.
you mentioned obstacles, and
Hmm.
the first thing I could think of was the obstacle of myself,
Mm.
overcoming
Mm.
me,
That's
because
one that people overlook a lot.
1000%.
Ourselves. We
Mhm.
are an obstacle to overcome too.
Yes.
It's true.
Self-awareness is just something that many people lack,
Mm.
and I catch it very often.
Uh-huh.
And
In
for
yourself
many
or in others?
for in my not in others, but then that makes me look at myself,
Mm.
because okay, if I'm catching that they're overlooking this, I start overanalyzing myself and start becoming self-aware all the time, 24/7, every minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that it's helped me in so many ways figure out and dissect myself and why I do the things that I do. And instead of pointing at everybody else like I see many doing, I start reflecting, right? And that's been my journey. Just been a lot of
When did this start?
so
Were you always reflective on yourself?
I'd like to say I've always been very intuitive,
Okay.
right? Very intuitive as a young girl. There was just something that
Yeah.
I felt was off in
Okay.
many different occasions, as a teenager, as a young adult,
Interesting.
becoming a mother and things like that. But I can't say I was self-aware in the sense where I could actually see it and I could actually analyze it. Maybe I was self-aware, but I wasn't actually very like studying it in a way and trying to grow from it. So this, I would have to say, started 3 years ago, where I was purposely trying to grow, purposely trying to fix myself. And the reason I was trying to do that was because I found myself to be very angry
Oh,
in a
wow.
way. Yes. And I didn't feel like this was me. And this is how it came about.
Right, right.
I was pregnant with my third child, and I was he was born March 2023.
Okay.
And during the pregnancy, I was just so uneasy, and it just bothered me. And then after I had the baby, I experienced postpartum, which I did not experience with my first two kids. So my first two kids are 19 now and 8, going to be 8. And then the other one's 3. The little one is 3, so that was 3 years ago. And so I experienced postpartum, and I didn't feel safe with anyone to really be able to help me. So because I also knew that childhood is a really big part of like an adult's life, right? That's the base of who you are as an adult. That's how I believe, right? And people nowadays, adults nowadays, they are who they are because of how they were molded as children and how they were affected as children. So in a lot of ways, my intuitive self with my kids, I always wanted to be very emotionally intelligent for them. And so with this last child, I didn't have that connection that I had with the first two right away. And that bothered me because that was different. That was different because I'm like, wait, I like, this is my child too. I love him.
Yeah.
But it just didn't feel the same.
That's interesting.
Right. And I think, in a way, we go into contrast, right? Contrast, throwing that curveball at me initiated me to want to look deeper in myself to try to fix myself, because I knew something was wrong. I knew that wasn't me. I knew that like this postpartum feeling, I knew it was hormones. I knew it was trying to make me transform into, like, I needed something. I needed to fix something. And it just something wasn't right. So then I start listening to books. I never read books. I was never a reader. I was always a listener.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but somehow I listened to something. I was like, you know what? It gave me the idea. I should just listen to books. So then I go literally the first year, 2 years, listening to books about the brain, about perspectives, about human interaction, all these things, and manifestation, a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I started being so self-aware about everything, and then self-aware with what other people were doing. I could almost see right through them, so I was in a relationship at that point too, where I almost started pushing away that person because I started really, really analyzing and seeing what they were bringing and what it was bringing out of me. So then, all these things were happening that I just wasn't anticipating. People think that, you get into something and, you're going to have it all figured out. And like, life throws curveballs at you for a reason. Because there's something that you need to figure out in that, right?
Definitely.
So it threw a bunch of curveballs at me, and I came to the realization that I needed to really work on myself. Why was I was asking a lot of questions to myself. Why was I reacting? Why was I feeling like this? Why am I being thrown these curveballs? Not like in a sense like I'm like, oh, why me? It was like, why? Because I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was very important to me. So, I started with the postpartum. What I started doing is I started talking to myself, saying, this is literally something that is temporary. It is not real. I'm going through hormones. I just went through a distressful thing. Like, I started talking to myself, and like that manifestation, like whatever. I read this book. I listened to this book that's like, don't believe everything you think. And that caught my eye as well, because we are just a program of all the thoughts that people imposed on us as we grow up. So then you have these beliefs about yourself that are not real. Right? And, now I have this curveball, like this postpartum, that's giving me thoughts that I know don't feel right, that truly don't align with me.
Yeah.
So then I start saying, like, this isn't real. This is temporary. And I start reprogramming myself. So I start looking into all these type of people like that, have like that study the mind, that study the brain. And I really get so interested in it. And so I start dissecting myself, and in a sense I start dissecting others, not to fault them or come at them, but to learn. So then I started realizing that we are our own problem, and that I am my own problem. I'm before, when I was intuitive and I was trying to figure things out, I was always looking outside, and and nobody has answers for you other than you, for you, right? Because everybody lives a distinctive life. And so for the love that I had, so going back to your question, how did I get it started, was, the whole postpartum initiated me wanting to fix myself, because I knew this wasn't real, this didn't feel right to me, and that this would affect my child and myself if I didn't fix it. So it was a journey to make sure that I didn't fuck up my kid.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's pretty much how that started. And going from there, I just dissected all day. Dissect every day, all day, right now, all the time, 24/7. Take accountability, right?
Oh, wow, that's rare in women these days.
In men too. Oh, yes. Humans. I always, sometimes I want to be like, fucking men, but I always change it.
Fucking men.
But I do. I literally go back and say, well, you know what, humans, I mean, because there's definitely women out there that can't realize the accountability that they have. My mother was like a huge influence in me trying to grow, because my mother, for a long time, I realized she just wasn't making the right not decisions. Well, she wasn't taking the right steps for herself, and there was a lot of blaming and a lot of like self-pity in that, and victim mentality, and I just didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be that. And there's a lot of people that are that. So that's where self-reflecting accountability took place, even in the smallest thing. The smallest thing meaning, you know how you get it. So we're always on our phones. Am I right? Well, most of us are always on our phones. 80% of the time we're on our phones. If it's not for phone calls, work, friends, whatever, or even just somebody that you like or that you're interested in. I mean, you're on the phone, right? And it was even these small changes that I made. You know how when you text or someone texts you and you say, I didn't see, I'm sorry, or it's been weeks. And I realized that was always a lie. Like, that's a lie we tell people, like, that I've told people in the past.
Right.
And those things started making me uncomfortable. That's how self-reflective I was. Even though we all know that we do that, like that people do that, like, yeah, we were just not a fucking priority for them. And that's okay. Even in those small instances, I changed it up. I said, I'm not lying to people anymore.
Listen, you weren't a priority.
You weren't a fucking priority. I saw it. There's times that I'm like, oh yeah, I did see it literally while I was in the car. And then I was like, I'll get back to her later. And then I forgot about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if I was, and then there's those stupid games that you don't want to seem weird, like the person that you're the one that answers right away. Like, that's another game we all play. Like, oh, I'm not going to answer right away. Like, I'm not that available. Like, what? That's that's bullshit. Because it takes 2 seconds. And so even with that, now, if someone texts me and I'm available and I want to freaking answer, I'm answering within the first 5 seconds. And those were like those small steps that I wanted to make to take accountability and stop lying to people, stop lying to myself, to make things comfortable. So I over the past 3 years, I've had really uncomfortable conversations with people. Really uncomfortable.
Why?
Well, uncomfortable for them because
you're being more honest
with myself and with them. Like, I call bullshit all day. And not because I want you to be upset, or I don't want anybody upset, because I actually care very much for others.
You want to have control over what you let in your life.
I want that. I do it because I care. Because taking accountability for my actions has helped me. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm telling you what to do or telling you about yourself only to hurt you or to hurt you, but only so that you could possibly maybe see it and possibly take action and say, I'm not putting up with my own bullshit anymore.
Right. Because
that's what I did. I started dissecting myself and everything that I said and said, I'm bullshitting. Like, this is definitely nobody else's fault but mine. And I do that a lot. And I think it's helped me. So I feel like it's a gift that I'm giving you, but not a lot of people see it that way because, they don't want to look, they don't want to reflect. They don't want to look in the mirror. It hurts. But if they only knew that it sets you also free.
Yes.
It sets you free.
Right.
You no longer have to like hide or do anything, have guilt. Like, it's just guilt, fear, and all that shit is just, it's literally hell. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's solid.
Mm-hmm.
Very wise.
Mm-hmm.
Very wise. It's like I need to take a moment just to reflect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like it's something that I love to do. I love
Yeah.
literally reflecting on every instance and capturing, and I feel like it's super intelligent, and a lot of people don't have that, and so they miss a lot of things.
Yeah.
And ever since I started doing that for myself, I've grown onto levels upon levels upon levels over the last 3 years. And it's timing. I don't beat myself up over like why didn't I do this 10 years ago?
Yeah.
I do. It is what it is now. And we're gonna move forward. And you can grow in 3 years more than some people will grow in 20, 30 years. So everyday basis. So that was my obstacle. My obstacle was myself. I jumped from job to job. So yeah, so my 20s, I have 3 kids of 3 boys. One is going to be 3, the other one's going to be 8, and the other one's going to be 20 this year. And I had a lot of bunch of relationships. 3 different relationships with them, and 3 different guys. And like I said, I was always very intuitive. Things didn't feel right. And for me, it's very uncomfortable to stay in any situation that's uncomfortable, right? Because I'm so emotionally sensitive. I'm very sensitive, super, super sensitive. So, because I'm emotionally sensitive, I almost think that I'm weak. I did feel like I was weak for a long time, because I was like, why is everybody staying in toxic relationships? How is that easier? I never understood that. I always thought it was like, it sucked being so sensitive and so emotional, because I was like, I would rather start over a million times than feel this tension in my own home. Feel this have my kids feel this tension. I just didn't know what the hell that was all about. I was like, why do like 99 out of 100 girls or men stay in toxic relationships? And they all say, well, like, it's easier than starting over. And I'm like, I think the complete opposite.
Yeah.
With my first son, I was 17, and then I left him around like 19, 20. So I was only 20 when I had to restart over.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second son, we had a house, had a kid. We were 5 years together, and I was like, oh, we're selling the house. It's like all these things that I did seem so much harder for people than staying. And that, to me, I don't know how. I can't relate to that. It doesn't work for that way for me. It's never. It's like I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta leave here. I gotta start this over. Gotta live out of my car or something for the next few months. Figure this out again. Figure even jobs. I've had like 15 different jobs. Where I'm like, because I was like, this doesn't feel good. Like, let's go again. Where, you have a lot of people that go, 20 years in a horrible job for weird reasons, like retirement that they might not get to,
Yeah, for sure. You waste your whole life.
You waste your whole life, and I don't understand that.
Right.
I've moved.
Right. Definitely. So, I want to just get into this a little bit, because I hear so often, that women end up initiating, separations, right? Maybe a lack of excitement. The guy was too nice. You know what I mean? And I also hear like all these things on the internet, like, oh, it was toxic. You know what I mean? When maybe it was just like a way to just like, I don't know, communicate discomfort, whatever it was. So I just want to like almost poke the stick right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Poke the stick all you want. I love it. I want to
I love it.
I love it. I want to like literally like have a whole talk with all the men and be like, but listen, Like I said to you before, I always catch myself. I don't think it's just women, and I don't just think it's just men. There's just in
Yeah.
relationships, right? I think realistically, there's a lack of emotional intelligence in men,
Mm.
right? Not that all men lack emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
but and then most women
Right.
have more emotional, like more emotion. Not that they're
Right.
completely
In
emotionally
tune.
intelligent. They're more intuitive. They're more emotional, like where they need to be heard,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Right.
And you know, sometimes it's not. Sometimes women leave and they might initiate because they're not emotionally like they are no longer emotionally there for that person. They're they've lacked it, or something happened, they weren't listening. um it's not always the man's fault in this sense. I think that we attract people that we need in our life, and you're either going to just leaving the next person's going, you're going to have the same person in a different body anyway. So even though women leave men most of the time, I think it has to do with the fact that we have this emotional sensitivity, and so we want more of that connection, that connective thing when it comes to a partner. And when you're no longer connected, it's rough on the woman. So they initiate, they find comfort elsewhere. Not that the other comfort's going to be any better if they don't work on themselves, because they have to be honest with themselves. It all comes back to accountability again. Now I feel like men tend to be a little bit easy, tend to not leave because they don't feel as hard, because they don't have that burden of actually feeling. It's very surface level. Sometimes they go and they're like, all right, I'm gonna go have like another woman, I'm having a drink, and I'm spaced that out, and I'm gonna just deal with it, or they work and things like that, and so they don't think about it. They don't have that. They don't have as much emotional burden to deal with. Does that make sense?
No.
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 So
Because I'm someone who's I understand a lot, and I'm always dissecting and understanding and looking at my partner, looking at myself. Like
mhm.
I just know patterns. I don't know. I feel things very deeply as
No,
well.
no. And
But
that's why I said
I don't
not
let
all men.
I know. That's why I personally, what I'm saying? Like I can't I I don't
You
know.
can't relate
Yeah.
because you are emotionally like intelligent, and you can feel and you can communicate.
Yeah.
So when it came to like exes of mine, right? So when I would explain something and communicate, it was like, it's almost like they didn't hear me,
Yeah.
and it got frustrating. And
No, I get it. You want the men to know before you even have to say anything.
you don't even, and the thing about it is that I don't even towards the end I wasn't even mad, because I'm like, you
Because you've
don't
been through it before?
no, because I just don't think they could understand it. It just wasn't gonna click. It wasn't gonna click with me. It wasn't gonna click. Maybe it wasn't. It's never gonna click. Maybe I'm not the person to get them to have that click in their head, or it's not that important. It just wasn't,
Mm.
because no matter, I'm the type of person that can explain something 1,000 different ways and really, really get into it. And for you not to understand it, you're either not understanding, period,
Or choosing.
or you're choosing. Correct.
Right.
So, and if either one is a lost cause, right? Either one. I had like a video that I like put up there that I was pretty much trying to say the same thing. Men aren't stupid. They either really don't get it or they choose not to get it.
Or they
But
get it.
right, or they choose not to get. They do get it. They choose to not acknowledge and really actually work on it, or because it doesn't benefit them. Because then that would be work.
What doesn't benefit them?
It doesn't benefit them to understand you.
Why would it not?
Why? Because it's too much work. Because let's say they have to, it just depends on the subject, right? So like, let's say a man is cheating, right? and then a woman's telling them like, this hurts me, this. If it's not, especially if the woman's gone back to that man 2-3 times, now that's a woman's pattern. Now I'd have to say like, that's kind of your fault as a woman, because you gave him what he needed to know to make sure he doesn't really have to listen to you or actually take accountability or actually change himself.
I think there's more nuances, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because personally, I think that women want protection and security.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you supply security, let's say just in this example, we'll just take a little sliver, and we'll talk about financial security, abundantly successful. You get what I'm saying? Like in everything that you would ever want is provided for. I feel like in that sense, women do less comparative internally and have a tolerance to deal with things longer. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? So I think it really comes down to comparison, and yeah, you know what I mean?
What
Because
they can
girls,
provide, right? What do you mean, like
it's more like what they can get out of it.
what they can get out of it? I
Yeah.
mean, we're all in it for ourselves. Don't get me wrong. Like, we all are selfish human beings. We do things to
I
benefit
wouldn't
us.
say. I mean, we all have tendencies. You
Tendencies.
know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say in its totality or in its whole, every single one of us is selfishness.
Well, we all should be selfish, but there's a fine line, right? So there's selfishness where you don't want to do anything to be better and grow, and then there's selfishness where you do good for yourself and you look out for yourself, and you create boundaries, and you let people know how to treat you, and that's what it should be, right? We should all have there's a fine line. There's like toxic selfishness, and then there's non-toxic being selfish and taking care of yourself. Because if you don't teach people if you don't know how to take care of yourself, what are you teaching people? How are you teaching people to take care of you? There's no.
No, I get it, but as a man, my perspective is that I don't teach other people how to take care of me. You get what I'm
No, you
saying?
teach them with your own actions, because of the way you teach, with the way you take care of yourself. I'm not saying you're like, oh, like, let's say I was going out with someone and they were like, if they saw that I set clear boundaries, like, you're not going to disrespect me, you're not, this is what I want as far as like, I don't know, financially, this is, and the way that I upkeep myself, and we're communicating. Like, let's say, obviously we're getting to know each other, right? There's a guy and a girl getting to know each other, and a guy might think, okay, it's okay for me to do this, and then she's like, from the beginning, it's like, no, I don't like things this way. I prefer if you hold my hand versus like walk away from me while you're walking, right? I don't think we're all very authentic when we first meet each other, because women specifically try to act less like low maintenance, more low maintenance, to get the guy to like them better, and then it backfires because now you've told them that you don't really need much, and in a sense, what you allowed and didn't allow, whatever you said, oh, it's okay that you forgot about me and didn't text me for 4 days, and it's okay this is it. And then when they actually get into a relationship and they both get comfortable, then this woman is complaining that they're not getting what she thinks she should be getting, but you didn't set the standard where you needed to set it from the beginning.
I hear what you're saying, right? But I also think it's a logical fallacy, and that's why a lot of these relationships end up failing. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, these fairy tale things, I don't know. I don't agree with them. You know what I
What
mean?
do you mean by fairy tale things?
Like this concept of the perfect love. I don't think that type of stuff really exists. And I think
Yeah.
that women generally chase that type of perfect love, even men too. You know what I mean? Like this perfect love that is just almost non existent. And I would say non existent because what we're seeing in this storytelling of this Cinderella story is as an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's not the next 24 hours times the rest of the years. You get what I'm saying? Like that's just how things go. which is why it's so important to get somebody who you align with a mission. You get what I'm saying? Like it's about values. Are we
Yes.
looking at the values, and what values are we looking at? Like what I can get out of it, or what we're doing together.
Right. I think it is about we're doing together. But you got to understand that we're all so programmed as women and men that it's like, okay, these are my check boxes and this is what's going to make me happy. When it's really, you're like you said, it's about being able to grow with someone. Right? I realized that over the course of the last 15 years being in relationships, the reason I couldn't stick around is because nobody was growing with me as a person, right? Because I'm not perfect today. I wasn't perfect 5 years ago, and I wasn't 10 years ago, right? But like, let's say two people come together and they hold each other accountable, and they're not upset with each other. They're not competing. They're not pointing fingers. They're helping each other see each other. Because sometimes I could be doing something that maybe I'm not necessarily always seeing. And then someone points it out and I'm like, wait, you're right. But for be able to have that person be like, yeah, you're right. And growing with a person. I haven't found a person like that I could say, and because there's not many like that in general. And I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about people in general. There's not a lot of people that will sit
So
here, and even if you have a partner that will take accountability, then you have a partner that doesn't. And then it's like, then it becomes, there's one's a victim, it's very not unlikely, but it's very possible to have two people come together and be like, but there's got to be a lot of healing between the both, not between the both of them, but individually. I think those two people come together when they've both healed, when they stop being reactive to criticism or whatever you call, like someone trying to help you out and telling you something about you that maybe you're not seeing. When you start becoming comfortable with someone being able to tell you something, and you being able to tell that person something because you know that you are both trying to help each other, yeah, I think it's possible. And it's growing. It will grow and blossom, and it will become a fairy tale because you both can just help each other. Because you guys will listen to each other, because you're aligned, because you won't be reactive. Yeah, there's not a lot of fairy tale relationships because everybody is reactive. Everybody is reactive because they take everything personal, because realistically, it's something that they need to work on. So let me get you, for example, my last relationship, I realized had me so reactive. He pissed me off. But when I left him, I was like, I need to work on myself. I can't work on myself with you because you think I'm attacking you, and really I wasn't trying to attack him. Then it came off competitive, then it came off petty, then it came off spiteful. We were tit for tat. And I was like, I don't like this. I was like, I can't go to the next level of my life and growth if I act just like you. I'm pointing fingers, but I have to point them right back at myself, because I'm not able to control myself, because I'm also reacting back. So it initiated, so in a way, but I'm grateful for that relationship. In the moment, it was tough, but it was great. I was grateful because I now know, not something I knew at that moment. I now know, after leaving that relationship over almost 2 years now, so it's been about a year and a half, that I needed that, because it was pointing shit out about myself, because everybody thinks that they wouldn't do this and they wouldn't do that until God lets you know you can, because everybody's capable of being the worst of them all and the best of them all. And it's very, very humbling to be able to get into a relationship and then also be self-reflecting at the time and realize I am fucking pointing fingers, and which means that I now have to fucking look at myself. I want to blame it all on him, but I'm not. He's a problem, but I sure as fuck I also was a problem. And so that initiated me to look at myself and say, and so this is the person that I needed. I think we all need.
Where do you want to go in life?
Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
I love this. I want to talk. I want to talk, and I want to dissect humans, and I want to let them know that it's okay to be fucked up sometimes. There's something that you need to learn from it. It's fine.
I respect that.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. So
self-awareness, self-reflection.
I definitely agree with you. You know what I mean? I would definitely think perpetuating that energy is something to do. You know what I mean? That's what this is about.
Right. I don't want to
but we can't just be words. We also have to exemplify.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's exactly why I wouldn't sit here and tell someone to be accountable when I don't hold myself accountable.
To what?
To everything that I do. Everything. That will create the best version of you. I'm not my best version. I don't know if I'll ever be.
Would you ever sacrifice yourself for
what do you mean?
Greater purpose?
For a greater purpose?
Yeah.
Sacrifice what?
Your life.
You have to shed you're the completely old you to be the best version of yourself. My life has changed.
No, I'm talking about like actual, like done, dead.
Dead? Yeah. If it meant it, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? It's just because it's so important. I think it's the most important thing you could ever do is literally just take accountability and you just grow and you'll be happy. And I have a few people that will say, Tal, you're always so fucking happy. I'm not like all the time, but yeah, for like literally 90% of the time I am. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are you on? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not on anything. I'm literally just, I am. I'm content because you want to know why most people aren't content or happy with them? Because they live a lie. Because they literally tell themselves lies. They tell themselves they're not problems. They're not the problem. They tell themselves that everybody else is the problem, that their job is the problem, their kids are the problem, this. And I have to say that it's literally you. You are the fucking problem. Mm-hmm. And when it's because I do tell myself, every time I'm not feeling good, I'm like, I did this to myself.
I'm going to push some buttons.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right?
Yeah.
Just because it's what we got to do.
I love pushing buttons.
Let's push them.
But because it initiates growth.
Right. So I'm going to push some buttons.
Go ahead.
2 seconds ago.
Yes.
Right? We were mentioning about like leaving relationships because these other people were the problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But now we're talking about I'm the problem. Right? Like mm-hmm. that type of language. You know what I mean? Yes. So like if we're going back in those old relationships, how do we know that, maybe that attitude that you have now saying, look at myself, the things that I can do, how do we know you weren't like facing things in like in a way that would actually create change?
Wait, what do you mean like by going back? So like meaning you go back to a relationship?
Yeah, like those old relationships that we talked about. Uh-huh. And you mentioned like that they were, falling short. They were essentially the problem. So, you know what I mean?
Not that they were the problem. It was more so like they were told that this was enough and the person accepted. I didn't like, they're both problems. I think in relationships,
I was talking about your scenario.
In my scenario with the person I was?
Well, no, with the men you're with.
So, because they didn't bring enough to the table?
Well, you were saying that they weren't emotionally intelligent.
Oh, they were not
blah, blah, blah.
Right.
They were the problem, right?
So, no, I think I've said we're both problems, but in different ways. And I was communicating with someone that wasn't understanding what I needed. And they were unable to understand. And then all myself.
Did you communicate perfectly?
No. No, probably not for them. And also, I was at a different stage in my life.
Okay.
I was definitely, I think it served its purpose. My relationship served its purpose. You know, that it needed to serve, because
Did we
as
push the buttons?
they push buttons
No,
and
I'm
they
saying,
made
did we with this question?
no, not at all, because
Okay.
I think that they it gets to a better, like,
Yeah, we're just exploring emotions.
exploring emotions,
You
because
know what I'm saying?
I,
Reacting,
I
you know,
I
exploring all of
was
it.
reacting before. Believe me, like, I know what I'm talking about, because I've literally lived it and dissected it and realized I was doing things like that.
Like what?
Right?
Reacting?
Reacting. I was going back and forth. I was being petty. I was not being whatever I was not being. But I think those relationships were so beneficial for me because they taught me something about me.
What they teach?
They taught me what I like and what I don't like. Sometimes this is the whole thing about programming with women and men, right? You're brought up to think this is what you need in a man. Like these girls, right? They're like, yeah, what I need in a man is for him to provide and keep me at home, and then like, just give me one child, or maybe give me four, and then I need, he needs to be clean, or this, and then right. So you have all these little stupid things. They're stupid. And then they realize they have all that, and then maybe not one thing, and then they're like, wait, I'm not happy. And then they're like, oh, I just need a guy to make me laugh. And then they get that guy that's like makes them laugh, but then doesn't bring anything else. And then they're like, oh, and then even the nice guys, right? They're like, yeah, I just need a nice guy. And then, but they haven't healed themselves. So like, let's say they grew up in a home, right? In a family where there's a lot of abuse. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not that nice guys aren't good or whatever. It's that,
They feel safe around this type of shit.
Right, they don't feel safe. Because it's like, that's not what they're used to. And you got to remember, there's a lot of unhealed fucking people here. Mm-hmm. Right? So we're going to keep going into relationships that feel safe, that feel familiar.
Right.
Right? So I have trauma. And like, if I don't heal it, I'll just keep going and having the same
generational curse. Passing it on to your
right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have the same type of relationships over and over. Different man, same fucking outcome, right? But I gotta say that in the 3 relationships, they were different things I learned about myself. So I knew those were people, the people that that were in my life. Maybe they were meant to bring me children.
Doesn't like a woman like really in love just like become her man type shit? Like she becomes like part of his world. Like so like almost like they learn these things. It's almost pointless because when your real man comes in, you're just gonna like almost follow under his wing. You're gonna become everything. You're gonna
no, I don't think
live
you
in
become.
his skin.
You don't think I become. You don't.
Yeah. But you start to really mold your identity to the way he's leading.
No, if a woman is truly healed, so for me, this is what I feel as of right now. Think is what I need, right, for in a relationship and a man. Totally different than what I might actually need, right? Because like I said, every relationship has taught me something about what I thought I wanted, and then what I realized is what I didn't want, certain things, right? Because really God brought in all these different people, and I really did learn different things. But you know what? I also have 3 beautiful boys that I love and give me unconditional love that I don't regret it ever. Right? They served its purpose, and I learned I think that I have different experiences with each of them. I didn't have the same experiences. I had different experiences that helped me grow as a person because I actually learned from those experiences with those relationships. Versus there's many people that go relationship to relationship to relationship, literally living the same exact life, living the same exact relationship with a different person, right? Like the abused woman goes from one abused man to another. They're living the same type of relationship, but with different men. Same thing with a man that has mommy issues. Why do men stay with crazy women? Because there is definitely crazy women out there. Because or because they cheat on them, because they feel betrayed, because their mother betrayed them. Daddy issues and mommy issues are both fucking real, and they're both the same for men and women. They're more accepted with men and not as much accepted with women. That's the only difference, but they're all the fucking same. Okay? So the difference between my relationships and my experiences is that they were all different, and I learned something different. And I got a blessing, which was my child. And it made me stronger. But going back to your question, what would I want in a man today? Because what I think is what I need from everything that I've learned in the past and as I'm healing today, I believe that I really just want emotional security, safety in every aspect of safe, the word. Not just emotional, but financial, but everything, right? You see these fairy tales. I just finished up that show, Bridgerton. And it's so funny because I always think like that these shows, like, this Hallmarks and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is so fucking gay. It's like it doesn't faze me. But that show specifically, Bridgerton, I'm like rolling, like bawling my eyes out, right? Because a lot of men nowadays say women are not in their feminine, right? We're not in our feminine. Specifically me, I get that all the time. I'm not in my feminine. And I know why I'm not in my feminine with anybody. Because I've had to, like, in that show, I'm trying to, like, compare the two, right? In that show, these men think the traditional women is just, stay at home mom. And they don't take care of them. They don't do anything for themselves. Everything's about the kids and the husband. They cook, they clean, they do everything, right? They chauffeur, they don't get any emotional safety. The man just comes home, gets laid maybe, and then that's it. That's like the best scenario for a man. Like, oh, she just loves me, and I just, let her be home. And this show, I like it because it shows that in a household, there's more jobs. There's multiple jobs in the household. And they're not all done by women. The job as a woman, because most of us are emotionally intelligent, is to love, like create love and support in the home with our children, right? And the financial part is taken care of by the man. But the cooking is done by a chef. The cleaning is done by a maid, because there's multiple jobs here, right? And then the driving around is done by, chauffeur. And then the only job of the woman really to be able to be in her feminine, because she's not worried about
In this
paying
TV
rent.
show?
In Bridgerton, yeah. Like, I mean, it comes easy. It looks very easy. Like, these women, like, are just like, they don't even have to put themselves together. There's somebody that puts them together, that caters to them, makes them look good, right? They cater to them too, right? It's not just about the man, and not just about the children, not just about, like, they're not just like wearing 10 hats and that's it. Their literal only job is to take care of themselves and guide their children. And
That's a TV show.
yeah, I understand that's a TV show.
I mean? And
but
they do propaganda all the time to push this type of thing, like a real,
I'm not saying this.
Men I have the biggest when it comes to guiding the children too, because a lot of the times I grew up without a father.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I didn't get that stern discipline. You know what I mean? To be like, yo, like, sit your ass down type shit. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like women are like, they're more like, okay, sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like they don't necessarily apply that pressure that really makes men. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or really guides women. Because again, these daddy issues, as you mentioned, you know what I mean? Like, there's an importance of like having a male role model who's guiding and disciplining and showing love and directing and taking the lead. Because that's what protection also is. You know what I mean? Like, you need to take the front. You need to lead by example. You don't
Right.
want your girl to go out first and get scars.
Correct.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
that show is not something that I'm saying like should be. It's just an example of why, um, what like there's so many hats that society wants you to wear as a woman.
As a
And
man.
what?
Like,
Oh,
that's
no,
why it's like
but no, no,
propaganda,
no,
because it only focuses on the woman.
no, it
Like,
doesn't. No, the
what, like
man.
the man's out there.
No,
What about everything that he's doing and work
no,
to
the
provide?
man.
Do they show that stuff?
The man is literally there, and he provides, and he's able to be emotionally connected with a woman. It also brings out the ability to say this is he can feel like a man, right? Because there's a lot of men out here that sometimes don't feel like men, and they're insecure because they are also led by masculine women. And if a woman could literally get her guard down and stop worrying about all the shit, really truly feel safe with a man, then she could be feminine and he could fully be masculine. But right now, this is what's happening. A lot of women are emasculating men because they're not feeling safe and secure with a man. And it's
That's
like,
also, but I don't also think that even has to do with the current man that they're with. I think it more has to do with the heartbreak that they experienced in the past.
right.
So now when they find a new man, they're just constantly testing, constantly trying to demasculate him, trying to do all this stuff
All comes
because
down
of
to
their past
accountability.
pain.
It comes down to accountability. They both attracted themselves. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you the
What
woman
do you
or
mean
the man.
attracted?
They attracted them. They attracted
Look,
each other.
no, but relationships start from the very rip. Like, when people first come
Right.
together, they don't know who they're really dealing with, but like, there's patterns that
They
people
attract.
initiate. Just because they met together and they went on a few dates doesn't mean that shit is lasting.
They attracted each other for a reason, and
It could be a lesson to learn, not what to want.
like a lesson, exactly,
You know
a
what I mean?
lesson to learn.
Exactly.
But you're not. What I'm trying to say, there's no fault in either one of them. What I'm trying to say is that they probably attracted each other to either learning a lesson from each other or to actually work together. They attracted themselves because of one is has daddy issues and the other one has mommy issues. But they're not.
But what were we even
There's nobody's right.
No, we're talking about attracting each other. Like, we were talking about how women are demasculating men.
Yes.
And then I brought up how it's more about past pain, and when they come into a relationship, it doesn't matter who the guy is, whether he's a good guy.
It does matter who the guy is,
No,
because a guy,
no.
but a guy it's got to set his boundaries as well, right? It doesn't just apply. I never said it just applies to women. Women and men both have to apply boundaries. So if a woman's demasculating you, instead of you bitching down, you want to stay firm to who you are and let her know, like, I got this. Make her, like, reassure her that she's safe. And if she doesn't want to listen, then she's not the person.
Exactly.
She's not the person. Why are you trying to force a woman that literally does not feel safe with you because she has fucking issues?
This is what women don't understand. You think pressing on a dude is what's gonna make, like, oh, baby, I'm gonna blah blah blah, don't even blah blah blah. Like, nah, like, I'm not gonna waste my time trying to do any of that shit. And then and by the time you realize it, it's already done for you. You already lost your opportunity. So you're playing these games and you're like, it's just you guys are.
It goes both
yourself.
ways. No, it's not you guys. It's about both. I 1,000% believe it's both. No, I'm not. You think I'm the one that left because I'm like, we're not doing right by each other. Like, we're not doing right by each other. We don't get each other. We got to move on, and that's it.
All right. I feel like this is chill, but I want to go back. I want to dissect. I want to double back.
All right.
A little
Let's
bit.
do.
All right. So you mentioned that you want to, like, do right by your children.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that you want to have them have this emotional intelligence, or like you want to be emotionally intelligent so that you don't put any scars on them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where does that stem from?
My parents had no emotional intelligence. And so I just spoke to my therapist about that. I just realized it kind of clicked to me today that like I said, we're always searching. We are lost. Let me just backtrack a tiny bit. We are fucking lost about ourselves.
We were talking about a lot of generals before. You know what I mean? Like, when I was saying, I don't think everybody is lost.
No, most of us are lost. For the most part, most of us are lost, right? we got lost back then.
Back when?
Back in childhood, we lost who we are because there was influences
But that's a
like
general
parents.
statement.
Yes, it
You know
is
what
a
I mean?
general
Like
statement.
maybe you should redirect it and say like
No,
maybe I was lost.
no, I think most of us, I'm not saying everyone, because then a general statement, I'm saying most of us, but I'm not saying all of us, because all of us would definitely be like absurd. But most of us are lost in many ways, got lost in childhood because there was something that maybe we weren't able to get from our parents. Listen, there's 4 kids, right? In a family. Like, and those 2 parents maybe were able to to cater to 3 of them in the ways that those 3 needed, but not one. I dissect all 3 of my children separately and guide them in different ways because they're different human beings. There's no book for all children in the fucking world. And this is how you take care of them. This is what's going to work. Like, I hate that. Like, that just seems very, like, general. Right? Oh, everybody, all kids. Like, if I really do step 1 through 5, like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense because, like, we have siblings and we are totally different from other people. We turn out completely different. We react different. We do different. We become somebody different, right? So, going back, everybody is lost. And we
I wouldn't say everybody.
Well, I'm sorry. For the most part, a lot of people are lost because you got lost back then and you lost your identity and who you want to, because you don't realize that you were influenced by so many different people and what you really needed. Our parents, didn't figure out like, okay, this is what this is what my daughter needs here, this is what my son might need here. Like, not everybody needs the same things in life, right? And so, okay.
My bad.
So we don't all need the same thing. So now we're sitting there dissecting. We're all sitting there a little bit like, okay, we're in conflict mode. We're conflicted because we're like, wait, but my mom told me that it's like I have to find this in a man, and then my dad told me that, like, like showed me this is how I should see a man, and so I'm conflicted, right? So really, yes, you're right. Women don't know what the fuck they want, and neither do men. We don't know what we want because
I wouldn't say all women or all men.
Okay, what I'm trying to say, most people, most women, men, whatever you want to do, it's we don't know what we want. We have to go through life to figure that out. If you don't like something, get out of it. Right? If a woman doesn't like something, then get out of it. I went through a few relationships I didn't like. I thought I did at first. That's not a fault. We all think we like somebody. We think, okay, like this is enough. This is enough for me, right? This man makes money and that's really all I need, and this is what I'm going to settle with. And then she settles and then she realizes that's not all she needs. Maybe she was like, damn, I really needed a hobby and now this man doesn't allow me to have a hobby or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Relationships are just like, you're just trying to figure out yourself because you're lost. You thought you liked it. And it's okay to say, I really thought you were going to give me everything that I necessarily need for myself. For me. And I'm talking about just me. Not like all women. All women don't need specifically exactly what I need. Not all men need what you need.
What do you need?
Well, that's what I was answering before, is that emotional safety. I didn't realize I needed that. But today it clicked, right? Because we're talking back on like
What's emotional safety though? Like you're gonna spend the most time with yourself than anything. You know what I'm saying?
Emotional safety, where someone actually understands the depth of my emotions. I didn't feel that. I realize now, as saying it out loud, when like earlier today, that I never had emotional safety with my parents because they never really understood it. They thought I was just sensitive. They're like, just like, get over it. I was a rebel. And I'm like trying to talk to them, and they're just like, what are you talking about? You go to, like, all that they thought was necessary for me as a child was a roof over my head, and then they fed me and I was safe at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely children out there that appreciate just that. But everybody's different.
I think we should like take the time to dissect that more. You know what I mean? Like maybe we don't have enough time in today,
Yeah.
but like I really think that we should actually take the time to dissect that because I feel like there's a lot of anger and emotion that's hiding behind that. And it may be painful to explore, but I think it might be worth it.
No, I that's exactly what I do. I don't, to me, pain is what makes you grow. It's not, that doesn't scare me. I'm not scared of any of that.
Good.
I'm not scared to tell you anything. There might have been a moment in my life that I probably would have been like, I'm an open book. I'm an open book because I don't care.
I was
I'm
just speaking
yeah.
generally.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like for like most people,
mm-hmm.
it might be painful to go like, to actually talk about things. I know this because this is the podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to create a space where it's easy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it takes courage. I've said this and I always say it to come
Mm-hmm.
on the show and talk about this type of stuff. But I'm just saying most people are not capable.
Capable, and that's why you're
And
asking.
I'm playing the line.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we met.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know where your tolerances are. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, personally, I think it'd be valuable to explore. And it probably, even regardless, if you can handle the pain. I'm not asking if you can handle the pain. I was just saying that it'll probably be painful. And that's all I'm
Which
going to
is
say.
great.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't saying that you weren't able to handle
Yeah.
it.
I truly, I mean, even what I said to you before, what do I want to do in life?
Yeah.
I want to shine the light on yourself.
Right.
Shine the light. Everybody nowadays is shining lights on everybody else to not necessarily just dim their own light or because they don't feel worthy. It's because they don't want to look at their shit themselves.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you this question. I've been telling you, like, I'm here to shine a light on people because I've gone over and over trying to take accountability for everything that I do.
Right.
And that's the way you grow. There's no reason why I wouldn't go into that.
I get you.
Because that's the part
it.
of what I'm trying to be able to do for people. I can't tell people to take accountability when I can't sit there and shine lights on myself.
Right.
Everybody, this is like literally, you're in the middle, right? And it literally all the flashlights are everybody else. That's people literally looking everybody else's life and trying to have an opinion on it. Mm-hmm.
Like, I respect that. Right? Like, self-awareness is something I love to, that's what, like, all of it is. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to know they're not alone. You know what I mean? Because, once you have a different perspective on certain things, you can really change the way you start to live your life.
Right.
And how you feel. You know what I mean? Like, and honestly, just like from my understanding of the world, is that a lot of the times people don't really care about, all this stuff that we talk about. They really care more so about what they can get out of it. You know what I mean? Like, how is this ultimately going to benefit their life, and why should I even pay attention in the first place? You know what I mean? So when we're
that alone is a, and like you said it right. Remember I said, like, everybody at the end of the day is trying to is selfish to a degree, but you have to be, because how am I going to benefit? So that when you're saying, I mean, you just stated it. You're not like, why are they're not here to listen. They don't necessarily just want to listen to us just because they're fucking bored and have nothing to do. They got to figure out, I'm going to keep listening to this because like it gives me something of value for me.
But here's the thing.
And that's what I want.
Right,
don't get me wrong.
right.
That's exactly what I want. I want them to find value.
There's so much of a spectrum out there, right?
Yeah.
So when, like, if you're living in a mask and you're not appropriately being yourself, you know what I mean? And you're playing this game and you're tiptoeing, like, you're not really living in your own heart. You're not doing what you want to do. So people keep learning so that they could let go of that mask so that they could help people more efficiently. Because when you're living in that mask, like, how are you really going to help people when you don't even know depth, or you're suffering, or you're scared, or whatever? You know what I'm saying? So people will be learning in for value to obtain value in order to be able to have a deeper impact for other people. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So they could tear down their own masks, their
yeah,
walls, their emotion, all that type of
I
stuff.
agree. That's exactly what
So it
I
doesn't
want to
necessarily
do, and
like
I
it's
want to.
like selfishness, but
That's why I always said there's a line.
to be selfless.
And that's where I'm telling you, that's where the line is. Like, there's, you should definitely be selfish to a healthy degree, right? Because you want to take care of yourself, because you want to help yourself, you want to
Yeah,
help unmask yourself, you want to shine the light on yourself
yeah.
to be better.
We need to start
Because
with
I do
ourselves.
that. That's selfishness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? I constantly, I want to be better, right? So what do I have to do? I have to do things to unravel myself, right? So I just don't like that selfishness is looked into like as a negative. It could be negative. Anything could be negative, right? Selfishness to a degree can be used in a positive form, because selflessness also could be very negative, because when you're
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there
yeah.
doing for everybody to the point where you're just draining yourself, that's negative. Now you have people, guess what you are going to attract?
Right.
Users. You're going to attract users that use you and keep draining you. You don't think selflessness is the negative? Yes, fucking real negative.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah,
I
so
want to
it
use a
goes both
different word.
ways.
You know what I mean? Like I'd rather just do like more of like considerate towards ourselves, considerate towards others. Like I like the idea of being considerate towards ourselves a little bit more.
Why does it make you uncomfortable?
Selfish?
No, I'm saying, why do you want to change the word? Do you want to call
I
it what
think
it is?
words no, I think words are powerful. You know what I'm
Yes, they
saying?
are powerful.
And when we use the word selfish, that's a very easy word to kind of exaggerate or expand into this really like like what we know selfish to be as far as like the negative connotation of it. We hear it and it can easily take it into that next dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to think let's switch up the words so that we can actually frame it and be able to apply it in a way that is more efficient, which I think would be being considerate towards yourself.
But why not go into depth about, like, why not
That is
allow
going
people
into
to go
depth.
into depth with selfishness and
Being
feeling
selfish,
comfortable,
because I
but
also
feeling
don't think
comfortable.
if you go too deep with selfishness, then you're also going to get to the other side where it doesn't serve you. Sure, in the beginning it might serve you, but the more you really hone in on this, and I don't think even when you are being selfish, you should be completely selfish. Even in your selfish
Right.
seasons, you still need to extend your hand out to those who really are actually like a test that's
A
coming in to
thousand
show you that
percent.
this, I got something to give you. You don't want to lose your
A,
soul.
1,000%. You're very right. But you have to understand, when people have to start getting real comfortable with taking care of themselves to pour from a full glass, not an empty one. Like, the same thing with me as a mom. You know what? As a mom, who comes first? I come first,
The only way to do
because
that, I'm sorry.
I say, as a mom, I come first, because if I pour into myself and really heal myself and grow myself and really like take accountability and do all that work, guess what? I am able to pour good shit into my kids, because I'm selfish. That is because I was me first
Right.
versus.
But now, since you're a single mother at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also have a business that you run,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you need to provide for those children as well.
Right.
If you are completely selfish and you're only looking out for your best interest and people start to pick up wind of that, no one's going to want to do business with you. And then you're not going to be able to provide for your children on that level. And that's going to be a huge level to not provide for them for.
What do you think? Like, you don't know my business,
It's about
right?
being
Yeah.
selfish.
No, my business is about really helping people. When I go into, I help people. When they come in, they know, like, okay, they have to pay a price,
You
right?
get
Like,
so
for my
attacked. It
aesthetics.
wasn't a personal
No,
attack.
no, no.
I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying
as
if you're too,
purpose.
theoretically speaking, if
Okay.
you're significantly selfish,
Mm-hmm.
like all the time, because you're saying like you have to be selfish for your kids, 100%. I get what you're saying, but if it's in everything you do, this selfishness, you know what I mean? It's not going to serve you, especially when we're talking about business. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to provide a service for people. You have to help people, as you know.
Right.
That's what you have to do.
But I think that you're mistaking, like, being selfish, like, as if that's the only job one has, is to be selfish. I'm saying, like, be selfish when you need to, like, grow yourself and to become a better person, but not selfish in the sense, like, I won't share my food. I won't share my wealth. I won't share my knowledge because that's all that I do.
I think you think
So, you know what
I
I'm saying? So,
I
I
think
was
you
saying
take things very personally, very easily.
no, what I'm trying to say is that you're saying as in like selfishness is one thing. Like selfishness allows one to better themselves and become in a better place to be able to provide for other people. I'm trying to help you see that it all ends up, there's different forms of being selfish. I'm not talking about being selfish as is selfish with my food. I'm not saying selfish with my with people and being stingy and things like that. I'm talking about selfish as in taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself so that you're capable of taking care of others.
No, I get you. I definitely hear
You
you.
know?
I definitely
But
hear
you're
you.
saying that one can get lost in taking care of themselves and then misconstrued that, like then they can misconstrue that into business where they think they're all about themselves. But that's not true. Like I think it's
It is true.
how do you get lost?
People can do that. People if we again, this is about really properly communicating things. If we're
Right.
gonna give people tools, then we need to make sure that there's no ambiguity. You get what I'm saying? So if we're gonna say to practice selfishness, we also need to say where that line is. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like and that's what I'm articulating.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So
So
I
I
just
don't want to be scared of the word. That's where it all came from because I said I'm like, don't be scared of the word. I want to tell people like there's lines. There's a line, a positive selfish and negative selfishness, but I don't want to steer away from that word because I think it's been geared towards being negative completely, and then selfishness has been what is humble about you.
so
It's like I
this
like
is
to
yeah, no, I get
balance
you.
the both. You know what I'm saying? I want people to get comfortable knowing the fine line of being selfless and selfish.
I get you. I
Hmm.
just don't think that this life that we live right now is really like the ultimate end goal. Like I really believe that there's a life outside of this, and I
Yeah,
think that this life is a test in order to get to that next life.
a thousand
And
percent.
that's what I'm thinking. So like for me, I believe in Christ, and I believe that if we search for the kingdom, everything else will be provided for us. If that's what our number one goal is. So, with that being said, there are other people who are also going to be getting into the kingdom. So we are all serving each other, those who are also getting into the kingdom. Our goal is to get people into the kingdom, and everything else will be provided to you. That's how it comes down.
It's very much true. You get the tools and the guide to be able to provide and guide people into the kingdom. You know, you the everything it's within us. And we have to open people's eyes. Comes back to self accountability and stuff. If you can grow through the pain of looking at yourself, you've become free. You become free, and freedom is the ultimate goal into, the kingdom. Right? That's freedom. That's heaven on earth.
Freedom is say that one more time.
So ultimately, through self-awareness, accountability, you through those pains of looking at yourself and realizing that at times you are the problem and things you need to fix, you become free from that guilt. And then you're able to then help and be in the kingdom with others.
I wouldn't know because I also feel like sometimes some pains are so strong that you feel like you need to atone for them for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like no single act or real a culmination of acts will ever really fill that hole that is this lack of guilt. You know what I mean? Like
What would you say would make you feel so guilty that you don't think you could ever not feel? Because guilt is,
maybe if you killed somebody,
yeah.
maybe if you hurt somebody, maybe if you made somebody kill themselves, maybe if whatever it could be. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be all of those.
It might not atone to everybody else, but your only your only job here in life is to forgive yourself and not feel guilt for yourself. It definitely would make it hard. People will make it hard for you for sure. But ultimately, it's really your it's what you decide that you want to do with that guilt.
Yeah.
You know, you have to forgive yourself.
Right.
That's all that is. But
I feel like me and
it's
you are gonna have a better conversation outside the podcast because I feel like right now it's
why?
like because it's like I'm trying to like I feel like I'm being very combative in the stuff that you're saying because I just want to clarify things and roll things out just
Mm-hmm.
like for the viewers listening at home just so there's no misunderstanding. You know what I mean? And I also feel like maybe
You think I would be misunderstood?
I think I'm there's plenty of times that I'd be misunderstood.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna
So you
happen.
want to clarify to the viewer, I mean to the listeners, if
Speak it
you know
out.
why it doesn't bother me to be understood and misunderstood because like I said to you before, everybody at their own pace. It's okay.
No, I get you.
You know?
No,
Like you might not necessarily understand me either today.
but it's so
And then
defensive. That's what I'm
no,
saying.
I'm
Like
not
you're
being
coming so defensive with
but
so
I'm
many
not
different
being
answers,
defensive.
which means it's like almost like are you really even thinking or are you just responding and being emotional? So I'm
I
just
think you're being defensive now because
no,
I'm
I'm
telling you
trying to
like
stand up for clarity.
but I'm letting you know that there's clear my clarity is that it's okay to like not necessarily be understood. You just these are the things that I lived and not everybody's going to understand them and that's okay. I don't like it's okay
100%.
that you might not understand me today. That's why I'm not
No, I
you
understand
know?
you. Trust me. I get it. But again, I don't want to push too many buttons. You know what I mean? And I feel like it would be better.
I'm literally like at this point a little bit lost because I'm thinking to myself
Yeah.
I am telling you like there's I don't know if I'm triggering something,
No,
but
it's not that.
it's
I just feel like I feel like I'm triggering things.
but I'm letting you know that everything's okay. Like it's not
I know you're saying
you
that.
know like it's really not something that I don't think there's a problem with a specific anyone or anything or just man or just women or just relationships. I think that literally it's just all about it's just inner work that we need to do. And that, you know, as I'm talking to people, there will be some people that it will click for and then some people that it won't. Possibly you, possibly not, and that's okay because we're all at different like we're all at different areas in our life, you know? There's literally
When you're right, you're right.
you're we're all like I said even I think when we before we first started I said to you I'm like there's things today that I've heard in the past say someone say to me before and it did not click 5 years ago. Maybe it didn't click. Maybe yesterday didn't. Like I said even today I was talking to my therapist and I was like there's something that clicked today. Then I don't understand why it didn't click before. That's why I'm not bothered to really like if someone to in depth to really be misunderstood. I'm not bothered by being misunderstood because I know that I've been there. I've been there where I don't understand something. And it's okay like it just wasn't my time to understand it. And that's why it's not a big it's not a big deal because maybe if I don't understand it today, maybe I'll understand it next
All right,
week,
so I'll give
you
better
know?
clarity then. So
Yeah.
I think that there's things that we do agree on and don't and disagree on. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
definitely.
And so I'm just making sure that what I believe in is articulated and said. That's it.
I agree. That's not. I think that's a better way to put it
Yeah.
because I'm sorry if I came off like I was
No.
like that, and I'm like I was just
No.
trying to say that
It's
you
okay.
know, that's just
You're
that's
very
one of the things.
very strong-minded and very opinionated. That's just
That's one of the
naturally who
things
you
that
are.
I
It's
am.
okay.
I've I really I've come to I said to you before there was like everything that clicks for others and I can't get mad at that. It's like getting mad at myself for not understanding.
Mm.
That you know like when they say it's like a tree. What did I forget the saying.
If a tree falls, does somebody hear it?
No, like it's like it's like telling a fish I don't know, like
Oh,
a
if you judge a fish's ability on how to climb a tree, it'll go
correct.
like its whole life thinking it's stupid or something, or
Correct.
like
And like I can't get mad at people. Like But believe me, I was not always like that. I'm like, what the fuck do you not get?
Right.
Like, why are you not getting it? Like, you
Yeah.
get frustrated.
Right.
But in the 3 years of literally doing self-reflecting, I'm sitting there like, I can't, like, sometimes it's just not someone's time to understand, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that was another thing that I started looking into, was taking shit personal. Like, we start taking shit personal, and that's just another fucking rabbit hole to get
Right.
into, because
Right.
I realize, like, you can't take things personal. People are literally living in their own world. Like, I'm literally living in my own world. I got my world, my experiences, and even, like, let's say my sister, she was my sister, and we supposedly lived in the same household, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we both lived different worlds.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So everybody's living in a different world, and everybody takes things a different way. And I learned that over the past 3 years, that it's just not, there's nothing to get upset about. And everybody at their own pace.
Right. Right. So.
Are we ending it?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Because there's we got a low time on memory card. We're at an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. Holy crap.
We're at 120 right now, but we only have like a little bit left. So I just want to make sure that we at least get the chance to do a proper close off.
Okay, go ahead. Close it out.
All right. Beautiful. So this one was an interesting episode. I feel like we got a little bit of a nice discussion. You know what I mean? I think we both have interesting sides. You know?
I think you have a lot of depth. I think you're very emotionally intelligent, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
And I did say to you before, there's a lot of men that don't have it. Not everyone, and there's women that definitely don't have it either.
Yeah.
It's just humans in general. There's not a lot that have it. So
yeah.
So I think that you do. I really do.
Oh.
Yeah.
I appreciate that greatly. Thank you very much for speaking out, taking the time to say that selflessly.
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Do you think that you were expecting this, like, to go? What did you? Before we close it out, right? And this is how we're gonna end it. No, one question for you.
What up?
So, initially, like, having me on, asking me on here, you're like, okay, how did you picture this going?
I had no anticipation of anything, honestly. Like, you never know who you're going to get on the show. So, like, I can't predetermine who I'm going to talk to. I have no idea where the conversation is going to go. So, nothing before. As I mentioned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a natural conversation.
Yeah. I like that.
So.
Oh, good. That's also really good to do. Yeah. I think so.
Right. It's like practicing a muscle.
I agree.
But it was interesting.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I love talking.
I love talking. Do you have an accent that I didn't hear?
Oh, no, I don't know.
You said that okay.
I don't love talking.
Okay, got it.
I'm making noises.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. I want you to leave a comment down below. Tell some of your favorite moments. Leave some things that you want to say to either one of us, or some insight that we can maybe dive in for a part 2. Remember to comment, like, subscribe. Thank you again for tuning in. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Heck yeah. Love it.
Oh.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.